So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome back to the channel. iPhone 12 Pro Max versus iPad Pro M1. This is the 12.9-inch beast. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, 1 and see which one can get there first. Now, I've been feeling like this iPad Pro M1 is kind of like the iPhone 12 Pro Max of the iPads. It's got very nice contrast ratio, just like this. It is the big boy, just like this of the phone game. So if you love the 12 Pro Max and you want a beast companion to that device, this is the one to pick up. So you can see iPad Pro M1 did boot up faster than the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Okay guys, so a quick spec check here. We do have iOS 14.6 on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. A14 Bionic is clocked in at 2.99 gigahertz, and we do have 5.56 GBs of RAM over here. Now for the iPad Pro M1, you can see we do have iOS 14.6 or iPadOS 14.6. 3.2 gigahertz is where it's clocked at, and 7.22 GB of RAM available, aka an 8 gig of RAM and a 6 gig of RAM. All right guys, so we've arrived at the app test. You can see everything closed out on both devices here, so we're ready to go. We'll begin with the IG. Let's go over here. You can see this is gonna go to iPad. So let's get up out of here. Let's go into eBay. You can see a very similar load time. Set up out of there. We're gonna go into Best Buy, and the gesture feels identical. I think the iPhone might have started loading that slightly faster. The iPad does have to load just a little bit more content on screen as well, because things are scaled differently. Let's go into Starbucks, and you can see this one was I think that might have been the iPad. Let's go into Groupon. That one's the iPhone for sure, but again, looks like we have more content over here. Let's go into category, and you can see then the iPad, but I'm getting basically from this, they're similar in the app opening times. They're very similar. So again, this is like the iPhone 12 Pro Max of tablets. Let's head up out of here. Let's go into PUBG Mobile. Some people think who wins the PUBG test wins the speed test, but let's see how they get here. And the iPad Pro M1 looks to be a little ahead, and this is a very powerful gaming machine. If you're into mobile gaming, it's probably not going to replace a beast gaming laptop. However, if you're cool with mobile gaming and that's enough for you, and you want to do all the productivity stuff, it could be an alternative, maybe. You got to be serious about your mobile gaming though. But they both loaded PUBG very similar. I would say the iPad was slightly ahead though. Let's go into Mortal Kombat. And you can see Mortal Kombat is slightly ahead here for which one? iPhone? Looks like the iPhone might be slightly ahead here. So unlike with the iPad Pro of last year with the A12Z, this A14 is basically matching, if not beating, this iPad M1 right now, and just, you know, loading certain applications. However, this doesn't tell the whole story. Stick around to the end because we have more coming with video rendering and benchmarking towards the end of this video, so stay around. You can see the Apple A14 definitely went out on that one. Let's go into Crossy Road. We're gonna open that again because it was giving me pop-ups on the iPad for, you know, network, so that's not gonna be fair. Let's go into Crossy Road one more time and see how they go here. Now, keep in mind with the iPad, if you get this combination, you have like the fastest combination in the Apple landscape right now. If you have this combo, let's go into Premiere Rush, as in you pick up an iPhone 12 Pro Max and you pick up an iPad M1. You definitely have the beast combo, like the fastest Apple products you can buy. Let's go into Luma Fusion. And yeah, you might be able to get more performance, you know, taking advantage of it on a MacBook M1, but I'm talking about for the iPadOS, for the mobile Apple products is what I'm talking about. So you can see when going through, the iPad just looks smoother because it has 120 Hertz, but the iPhone 12 Pro Max is still very smooth as well when scrolling through that timeline right there. We're gonna go into iMovie. You can see very similar load times. Let's go into Geekbench. And that one's going to iPhone. The Geekbench hasn't been loading like super fast on the M1 so far, but at least the scores are pretty good. We'll go into 3D Mark on both. and iPhone might have slightly had that. So I would say iPhone was slightly better when it comes to these applications. It has been out more time. The apps are slightly snappier, and a lot of them are a little bit more developed for a phone. So that's probably why it's winning out in some of those. But definitely both of them are beasts, and two of the fastest iOS, Apple, iPad OS, whatever you want to call it, the mobile systems of these Apple products. And both of them will be such a beast combo. They're like using the same device. One is just massive, one is just in your pocket. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna skip the RAM management. I'm gonna go straight into Geekbench, and we're gonna see what kind of scores do we get for both these devices. Let's go ahead and run the benchmark, and I'll be back when they are done. So here are the final Geekbench scores, and you could see that the iPhone is very close to the iPad Pro in the single core. Now, that's probably why in the app test, it wasn't a very big difference, but in the multi-core, you see the iPad is ahead. So definitely stronger when it comes to the more intense things. However, iOS is so optimized, you really gotta weigh how much power do you need. Now, me personally, I do a ton of things. I run my whole life business on these products, so I definitely want the most power I can get. However, you might not need all that power. Let's go ahead and run a Wildlife Extreme. Actually, we're gonna do Wildlife here on the unlimited mode on both of them. And we'll hit start here in 3, 2, 1, and I'll be back when these are done, and we'll talk about the scores that we get here. All right guys, so iPhone 12 Pro Max, 8697 for the overall score. 52.1 FPS over there. Now on this one, 17,372, so almost 10,000 more on the overall score, 104 FPS. Now, where is this gonna matter? Intense gaming, intense video, when you have a lot of 4K clips, like all the way down the timeline, you're gonna be able to run this thing like a boss. So the iPad is definitely the more powerful device here, but you're really gonna have to do a lot to stress that CPU to really get that thing choking. And most people could never even get the M1 on the MacBooks to choke. So this might be overpowered even for most people currently. Let's go ahead and run a LumaFusion render here. I have the same 5-minute and 19-second 4K clip. I'm gonna go ahead and render this out on both of them. We're gonna write these movies really quickly here. We'll hit movie here, movie here. We're gonna save it to photos. Actually, we're gonna save it to files. So we're just gonna hit it right here in 3, 2, 1, and I'll be back when these boys are done writing this content. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in just a bit, and I'll be back. All right, so the iPhone has beat out the M1 iPad, at least here on LumaFusion, to render a 5-minute and 16-second 4K clip. It was only around 5 seconds or so quicker to finish that render, but at the end of the day, it shows that maybe this LumaFusion needs an update. I'm sure they will get it updated to support it, but I don't think it's gonna be that much different. It might just match that iPhone, but it shows how powerful the A14 is as well. So I'm thinking maybe an A14X would have been fine in here as well, like just a modified version of this CPU. But the M1 definitely didn't win out there. Again, I'm gonna do more speed tests down the line on these iPads, but that one's going to the iPhone. All right, so now in iMovie, Apple's own application, this might be a little bit better optimized for iPad M1 since it just came out. We're gonna hit save video and see which one can do this quicker. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we close up here. The M1 has taken down the A14 in the iMovie, same video. So I'm guessing it's because it's an Apple app. Maybe Luma needs a couple updates for the M1. And if we see Final Cut Pro here, that might be exclusive to the iPad if Apple decides to bring that at WWDC. People have been waiting for that forever on the iPad series just because it's getting so powerful. But yeah, the iPad, I would conclude, is the more powerful device here, but you're not gonna see it too much versus something like an A14. So you can even keep in mind the iPad Air 4. And if you wanna see the iPad Air 4 speed test, let me know down below in the comments. My conclusion is iPad Pro M1 12.9 is like the 12 Pro Max of iPads. Deep contrast ratio, just like the XDR OLED display over here. It's a perfect combo if you want a beast combo from Apple, both blazing fast. A14 in your pocket is kind of like having an M1 mini in your pocket CPU. So thumbs up if you found the video helpful, entertaining, enjoying, and if you like this one, check out this one. You might like this video as well. I will catch you all in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here, and peace.